Hi, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie and this is my husband.
I'm Glenn.
And today we're going to be reviewing episode 5 of season 9 of Married at First Sight. Alright, so where do you want to start?
Let's start with Deanna and Greg.
We're going to start with Deanna and Greg?
Deanna and Greg. I like Deanna and Greg. I do. I think,
like them too.
I like Deanna and Greg. They're churchy folk.
Like us.
Like us. They're church people, but not. Let's start with Deanna. Deanna's still not liking compliments. I think one of the things that we saw early in the show was that Greg was like, today is 0 compliments. I'm at 0 right now.
And she was like, high five. What? I like the fact that, I know we're talking about Deanna and Greg, but I have to throw in a conversation between the girls. And like when Deanna said that to Iris was like, no, you got to soak it up now because you don't want to get to the point where later on, he like gives you no compliments and it's like, does he still like me? And Deanna kind of was like, nah. But I thought that was really smart for Iris to say like, I'm really not getting Deanna, like she doesn't want any compliments. That's kind of weird. Now I understand the overkill of compliments, but none. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to give compliments. He thinks she's pretty. They're on day number 5, so he's constantly giving compliments. And Iris is right. A guy get to the point where, you know what, I'm going to stop giving you compliments at all. You don't want to receive none of them. I'm not going to tell you that you look nice today. I'm not going to tell you that your hair is done. I'm not going to say anything to you. And then there becomes another issue. But I think it goes back to the fact that she really hasn't received compliments from a person or a guy in about 10 years. She ain't been in a relationship. So she has to get used to being complimented. She has to be used to, having a guy who's really attracted to her and paying attention to her. So I think
I don't know. I beg to differ. I don't think that just because she hasn't been in a relationship for 10 years doesn't mean she hasn't gotten any compliments. She probably got compliments from that creepy guy at the grocery store. That it was really weird. Like, you look cute today. Like, ew, get away from me. She probably got those. And maybe that's why she don't want him. Like, are you being genuine? I don't know.
Well, seems like he's being genuine. But then
I think he is too.
Then they had a discussion about church. Because they both were church people, religious people. And he asked her where he go to church at. He said he goes to Elevation Church. He said he serves in the parking lot ministry. And he asked her where she goes to church at, which is funny. And I don't know if everybody got the joke. I really don't know if everybody watching it got it. But she goes to Bedside Baptist, which means she stays at home and watches online, which I thought was interesting. Was funny that I don't know if she's from Charlotte or not, but she hadn't found a church home yet.
Yeah, well, I thought it was weird that she asked him where he goes as if she was going to say, I go somewhere. And she absolutely does not. She said she watches online. Nothing wrong with watching online. Nothing at all wrong with that.
Nothing.
But, I mean, she said it like, where do you go to church?
But, which is probably a good thing for them. Now they really don't have to argue over where they're going to fellowship and worship at. Which this is probably one of the first seasons that we'll see maybe church being a issue to see where they go. And maybe Pastor Cal be able to speak on that a little bit later. But they have an opportunity, since she doesn't go anywhere, he goes somewhere, that to see how that plays into their relationship, because that's important in some relationships. Where we go to worship, do we worship 2 separate places or do we worship together? So I think this would be interesting to see Deanna and Greg having a discussion about church and where worship at. So
yeah, and while we're still talking about them, I want to backtrack a little bit to the compliment thing, and let's talk about them going to the island. All right. And so they went through their suitcases on one of the other episodes and was like, oh, we have all kind of matching colors. So she made a point to say, today we're going to do teal. Make sure you bring your teal swimming trunks. I'm going to have on my teal bathing suit. I thought that was the cutest thing that she wanted to match.
And he was like, yeah, okay, cool. But when he saw her in a bathing suit,
woo-wee,
he was like, this is the closest thing to seeing my wife naked that I've seen.
And he wanted,
that's what he said. Less dress.
But he wanted to compliment her so bad. He wanted to be like, oh my gosh, you are smoking hot. But he also didn't want his body to tell that she was smoking hot.
Yeah, so he went to take a dip in the water. Some things were shown. So Greg went to have a dip in the water so the other folks couldn't see how excited he was to see his wife in a teal bathing suit.
Yeah, he was excited. I'm not mad at him. I think this is one of the first seasons where it seems like every couple is like attracted to each other.
Yeah, they are attracted, which is good. But now, Deanna and Greg has not done anything yet. Iris and Keith hasn't done anything yet.
Right.
But Jamie, to open up the show, Jamie and Elizabeth said they had consummated their marriage. So it was good, and said, Jamie asked her how she was feeling, and she was like, I'm hurting this morning because they consummated her marriage. She is funny to me.
She's weird. She's weird. But Jamie is too, because she said that last night Jamie told me he loved me. What? What?
He said he loved me during sex, I guess.
Sir.
Afterwards.
Sir, you're jumping ahead of yourself.
Maybe it was just that good. He just loved it. He was in love, right? They are
married, right?
They are married. They consummated his marriage. So he was in love, and so they had a good relationship with him. And so that's one of the things I like about them. At least they talk and have conversations. You'll see some argument later on when we get to it in the show, but they always have conversation. And she wears her emotions on her sleeve. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing, sometimes in this way it looks like it's bad.
Yeah, it's like she said, she goes into diva mode. Yeah. That is not cute. It almost kind of puts me in the mind frame of like AJ from last season.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You know, he went from 0 to 100 in his emotions real quick. It got irritated and frustrated. And for Elizabeth, she goes to diva mode. And it's like, this is the second time they had their argument about, you left me for 2 hours, you didn't look for me. And today it was, oh, you're not comforting me, this catamaran, oh my gosh, I can't take it.
I don't like boats.
Get off of me. Don't touch me. Like, how did we get there?
Like, she knew she was fine over there. Everybody was sick on the boat. Amber was a little sick. The only one that was happy was Deanna, because she felt like a roller coaster. But most of the women was having some issues with the water being choppy. And Elizabeth took it kind of to the extreme.
Yeah.
She, sick and understand. And Jamie comforted a little bit, but he was a little sarcastic. He's getting to know her. So when he was sarcastic with her, she took it to like, you don't care.
Right.
You don't care about me. You don't care how I'm feeling. At the point, you can't do anything. Either I hold you tight or you throw up over the side of the boat.
Yeah. And it's just a key point that in marriage, like, they're getting to know each other. We both kind of have to learn each other. Like, she'll have to learn that was his way of comforting her. Like, he was trying to make a joke to take her mind off how she was feeling. And so she'll have to get to know that about him. And then he has to continue to learn, because I think she's going to have some more extreme highs. I feel it. She's going to have some more extreme highs and lows. So she's going to have to get used to him, and he's going to have to get used to dealing with her. But it can't just all be Jamie getting used to Elizabeth. She's going to have to make some concessions too.
Yeah, she got to make some concessions to Jamie. But one thing I do like, the next morning they was able to talk about it, to discuss it, and move past it.
I really appreciate that. Both times they had a disagreement.
Both times had a disagreement.
They talked about it, and they got a good understanding. And so while we're on that, we're talking about things, and I know it's at the end of the show, but talking things out and getting an understanding. Let's talk about Matt and Amber.
Yeah.
So they had a disagreement, and I think, like I said, there's this season, the couples are more attracted to each other. They seem to be better matched, if you could say that. But the other thing I like about it is they're talking stuff out.
They have communication skills, and that's preferences. Matt talked about with the guys when they was on their day playing putt-putt golf, that he may get a contract offer to go play overseas. He don't want to go, but because he's trying to start his mobile detail business, the money will be good and will be able to help him.
Right.
So him and Amber was at dinner, and he made a discussion. I may get a contract overseas. How would that affect our relationship? And she said it wouldn't affect our relationship. It would affect our relationship a lot, because she thought about her mom. It felt like you leaving me. I'll feel left alone. I feel disappointed. My mom left me, and so I can understand that. And then she was like, she offered, until you get your mobile detailing business over, I make about $80,000 a year. I can help us out, which I thought was a great gesture, But as a man, he felt some type of way.
Yeah, I thought it was nice for her to say that too. Again, the comment I just made previously about couples getting to know each other and getting to know what this married life thing is about. It was kind of her to say, I'll take care of us, until you get your mobile detailing business up. But he's a man. You know, and he, you know, when it really sat in, he was like, hold on. I'm not asking you to take care of me. I can do it on my own.
I got money.
And I kind of got that too. It was like, are you saying I don't have any money? Like I know what I have done well with my money. I haven't just blown my money. So I have some money already, but the overseas money would just be added to it. So, you know, he felt some type of way, like, I don't want my woman taking care of me.
Which is good for a man. You want to be a provider.
Right.
But at the same time, now you two guys together are one. And that's what I like to see in the show. I would love to see how they go to the point when they start putting their bank accounts together. Do they do it before the 8 weeks or after the 8 weeks? You know, I even thought about when they were talking about on the catamaran, I think a comment was made by Jamie. If I die, you know, if you die,
can we annul the marriage?
Annul our marriage, which made me think about, okay, how about life insurance? And some of the basic things married couples do that the show doesn't really talk about, you know, life insurance, money, and stuff like that, putting it together. So that was something that made me think about that. And I can't blame Amber and I can't blame Matt, but it was a good discussion to see. You know, she wanted to help her husband out. Look, I'd rather have you with me and we'll sacrifice than you going overseas and being away from me for 6 months. I thought it was great.
That says a lot, considering we're just 5 days in.
We're just 5 days in. She loves him that much in 5 days that she's willing to sacrifice everything or sacrifice her salary.
Or make some sacrifices.
Or make some sacrifices so they can stay together.
Yeah. And also with Matt and Amber, in contrast to Elizabeth and Jamie, so Amber didn't really care too much for the catamaran ride either. But I think she really took it in stride, and you could see the different personalities between Matt and Jamie and Elizabeth and Amber, because Amber was like, you know what, looking at the view and where we're going to end up, it's worth me having to fight off this motion sickness to get there. So, you know, I'm trying my best and trying to hold it in. And Matt cracked a joke too, but it just wasn't, being that Amber's different from Elizabeth, she took it different. He went to kiss her. It's like, please don't throw up in my mouth. And you know, it's like I'm still sick to my stomach, but that was funny. You know, again, he's trying to lighten the moment like Jamie was, but again, different personalities. Amber was like, okay, but she really took it in stride. You know, she did not look good. She looked so queasy, but you know, he just held her and. You know, they got there and she was like, phew, I made it. And so it just, like I said, different personalities, you know, are you going to be the complainer all the time in the relationship?
Or are you going to tough it out?
Are you going to tough it out like Amber?
Tough it out. But then it gets to this island, which is on the island. Most couples stayed on the beach, but my favorite couple, Iris and Keith. Iris and Keith took a walk on the island to explore the island. And Iris found out that her husband Keith likes to play. And I can appreciate Keith because I play a lot.
Oh my gosh.
I play a lot, so I like playing, you know, grab your ankles and scare you and what's that in the woods. So to me, that was my personality. I like to see Keith do that with Iris, and they had a good time, and they had a discussion, and they came to a fork in the road. And Iris says, we either can choose the marriage side or the divorce side. Now, we watched this, you brought up why she's always asking marriage or divorce.
Right, it's like she's asking him to make a decision now before the time is over with. And I really feel like she keeps asking because she wants to give in fully. She wants to commit to it fully. Like she wants to leave this process as not the 27-year-old virgin. I really feel like that's why she keeps asking. Because she's like, I'm trying to justify me breaking this covenant that I've made between me and God.
Yeah, but she, I can't blame her. It's 27 years. This is something that she wants to be able to say, you know what, I had sex with my husband and that's the only person I've ever had sex with. This is the only person I ever want to be with. And she want to make sure it's the right thing. So she's still in that filling out process to make sure that Keith's been patient. He's been a real patient. I think last week somebody commented on the page.
He's been real patient. It's 5 days.
It's 5 days. But thanks for the comment who left on the page. You know, Greg, who also a Christian, said he didn't want a virgin either. So, but you have Keith who doesn't mind having a virgin wife, and he's very patient. And Iris mentioned that the experts did a great job by giving her somebody patient to work with her, and when it leads to that point, I do think it's going to lead to that point that they will have sex.
Yeah, I do too.
But it takes time. But then we saw another side of Iris.
Yeah.
And the side of Iris that we saw was that was panicking, that was kind of upset. She didn't know what to do. Keith was playing again in the sand, and he lost his ring.
Yeah. This is the thing. I'm not surprised he lost it. At the wedding, we already knew it was too big. It was too big. But I think we saw a little bit of Elizabeth and Iris. She didn't completely freak out like Elizabeth may have, but she did. She freaked out on the Iris 27-year-old virgin level. Where's your ring? I can't believe you lost your ring. Oh my gosh, we gotta find your ring. Like, girl, calm down.
Right.
It's not that serious. I don't know how much they paid for the ring. She act like it cost a whole lot.
Oh, come on, let's be honest. The show gave them money to pay for the ring. Can we be honest? The show gave them money to pay for that ring. They didn't come out of their own pocket. So it's like, you're still married. If you lose the ring or not, you still married.
Yeah.
So I understand it's the ring, but Keith found the ring after about 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And everything was good. Everything was calm. And you saw her come back down to earth.
Quickly. I appreciated that. Because it seems like to me, again, I keep going back to my homegirl, Elizabeth. It takes her a minute to regroup, it seems like.
We all have our levels.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Iris, she went right, back to her, calm and cool demeanor. She was like, okay. And even in that, we found out that Keith likes to play, but he didn't really play in that.
Nah,
he realized that, this is serious to her. So, I could be joking like, it's just a ring.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that.
He didn't say nothing. He went looking for the ring, and he found the ring, which was good by him. No big argument. Everything else was fine, and everything else was good. So it was great for them to be able to have an issue. So we've seen a couple of couples have arguments. Now, this is when we talk about arguments. Get back to the point. Elizabeth, there was a question that was asked when the women was together. Have any of you guys, Amber asked the question, have any of you guys had an argument yet? And Elizabeth didn't say a word, knowing that her and Jamie had an argument. Yeah. And I can respect that from her. Because sometimes on this situation, you don't want everybody to be in your business. You don't want everybody talking about it. You don't want everybody gossiping. So for her to keep it quiet was great.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like we're all in this together. Mm-hmm. And you kind of want to share. Now, I can understand her not wanting to say. I probably wouldn't have been specific about what it was and just been like, yeah, we had our first little, and not go into detail. I think it's a way that you can do it. They're trying to share because they're the only people in this experience that can relate to each other.
I give you that.
And can understand. I understand both sides, but Elizabeth was just like, I don't want them in my business. I don't want to tell them anything.
It's twofold.
Jamie was like, okay, yeah, I understand.
Maybe she didn't want to look bad,
But the funny part was she didn't want to tell them about the disagreement they had, but everybody saw her go bleep yourself, Jamie. Get the F off of me. Like, everybody saw that. So for you wanting to hide that y'all had disagreements, she acted a fool on the boat.
Yeah, you showed everybody that you had disagreement. And so, that was one of the things there. But the last point we want to make before we close this video out is this. Iris and Keith mentioned they do 2 negatives and 1 positive with each other. Yeah. And Deanna was like, that's not a good idea. But Greg liked the idea.
Yeah, Greg was like, okay, yeah, that's how you could get to know somebody. And like, Deanna didn't like it, but I think it's because she took it a different way. Like, she was like, I'm not going to tell you today about something that made me mad 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And that's not what they were saying. It's, you don't know them. So it'd be nice to say, I don't like people playing with me. Like, don't hide around the corner and try to scare me.
Right.
Like, I don't like that. That's a negative. I don't like people who are impatient. That's not telling you something 2 weeks ago. That's you getting to know me so they can avoid issues later. Like,
yeah, they can avoid issues and problems later. And I think, it's good to sometimes have negatives, or it's good to address things right then and there. But sometimes the emotions are so high that you can't address things right then and there as a husband and wife. And sometimes you may have to take that moment and come back when cooler heads prevail and say it in a articulate way that you're not aggressive, that you're not frustrated, but you're having dialogue and not argument.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's the best thing. But Deanna, I'm gonna just say this. Deanna like straight shut him down because he was about to say, hey, and she was like, I don't like it. He was like, oh yeah, okay.
That was the only time she's gonna shut him down, because she shut him down when she found out that he had a fiance and he lived with a woman before. He like, oh, you just want to slip that in, huh? But they worked that out as well, because that's before her. You can't really get mad. And Greg was so smooth, because I like how he did it. Well, God knew what it was for. He knew that wasn't one for me, and he was doing it just for you. And she couldn't say anything. She couldn't say anything. He used the religious card against her. Like, look, God did it. He knew what he was doing. So I thought that was interesting. I thought they had a good dinner together. All the couples had individual dinners with each other where they had discussion and they talked. That was the last day of the honeymoon. We go back when the episode comes next week. They're at home.
They gonna be at home.
We see how they lie. We see who gets to live with who's moving into whose house. I think they're moving into people's houses this year. I don't think they are giving them a neutral place, but I think they're moving into.
I think they should.
One of the people partner's house.
Well, we'll see. I think they should though. I think that worked out last season to be in a neutral house. So hopefully they'll do the neutral house again, where it's not one person or the other. Because Deanna mentioned that, it was like, okay, you're a homeowner. Would it be like I moved into your house and you want to integrate me into the house, right? Or would it just be that I moved in? So I think the neutral house would be good. So I'm interested to see what happens there.
It is, and so make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you like it. Make sure you share.
Hit the bell notification.
Hit the bell notification. If this video is too long, we apologize, but there was a lot to talk about in this episode. This was out of the first 5. This was the more interesting one. So make sure you hit that bell notification. Make sure you subscribe. Leave us a thumbs up, and we'll catch you next week for episode 6.
Bye.
Bye.